Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscribers Michael and Alexa, I will be playing whatever I want. They gave me a dealer's choice. Shout out to them. I love when people do that. And I have chosen to play this exciting new Yorion Crashing Footfalls 4-color control deck in Modern. The reason I went with this is twofold. First of all, I was going to play the Pauper Turbo Initiative deck for you, but I'm recording this on Saturday, September 17th. You're not going to see it until Thursday or Friday this week. And the Pauper panel announced last night that they'll be making an announcement on Monday that could affect what's legal in the format. As much as I'd like to feature this busted Pauper deck, it might not be legal by the time you're all seeing this video. So I had to come up with a backup plan. And I have several Modern tournaments coming up. I'll be in the Modern seat at NRG Ohio later this month, or I guess it's in October, next month. And then I have a bunch of Modern tournaments I got to play at Magic 30 in Vegas later this year. And this is one of the decks on my short list of decks I'm taking very seriously. This is a new take on two old archetypes, facilitated by Leyline Binding. New card from Dominaria United. 6 mana enchantment with flash. Domain, it costs 1 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. And this deck can put every land type into play. You are an Omnath deck, so you have all the non-black colors, and then there is Indatha Triome, that's also a swamp. You can make this card cost 1, and it exiles target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Leyline Binding leaves the battlefield. It's an Oblivion Ring that costs 1 or 2 mana and has flash. That's a really powerful spell. It also gives you a 1 or 2 mana piece of interaction that you can play in a deck with Crashing Footfalls and the Shardless Agent Cascade engine. Adding to the group with Dead Gone, Fire Ice, Brazen Borrower, the Pitch Elementals. There's a really robust package of things you can do that technically cost more than 2, but still let you play the game when you can't have any 2-drops or less in your deck other than Footfalls. And it does all that while still having the whole Omnath engine in the deck with the Pitch Elementals, the Omnath itself. You got 4 Teferi here, which is undeniable. Like, obviously that core has been affecting Modern for the last year or year and change since Modern Horizons 2 came out. But one of the big criticisms of that deck is that it can't win the game, or not quickly, which makes it risky in tournament play because going to draws, unintentional draws, are pretty bad. And on Magic Online, your clock's a problem. But if the deck can shit out 8 power and toughness worth of Rhinos for 3 mana in a variety of different ways, you become sort of a tempo deck with Omnath Solitude at the top end, rather than like a crazy late game control deck with Omnath as your low cost thing that you're trying to ramp into Solitude's Furies and Emrakul's. It just totally flips the script of what Omnath's role is in your deck. Sort of after your opponent burns off their energy, fending off these Rhinos, then the Omnath squad arrives, rather than Omnath being the first real test of the game after you whittle them down with removal and counter spells. If you follow the channel or my tournament performances on Twitter, I post updates on tournaments I'm playing. I've played Glimpse of Tomorrow combo in multiple real events lately. I took it to Star City Baltimore, and the only Modern PPTQ or RCQ, whatever they're called now, this season I played that deck in and I lost in top 4. And what I really like about that deck is it has an aggressive combo slanted way to win the game, but it's still an Omnath top end deck. And this does the same thing without having to play really crazy stuff in your deck. Like, we do have to build around the Cascade and not play any 1 or 2 drops, but it's not like we're putting a bunch of like Wave Sifters or really strange cards in the deck to facilitate a card as weird as Glimpse of Tomorrow. This is just a pair of 4/4s. Let's go. There's also no fail rate. Sometimes you Glimpse of Tomorrow and just hit 4 lands and 2 more glimpses, and you're worse off than when you started. But Crashing Footfalls is always 2 4/4s. And I like the consistency of that in this control shell. This just makes a lot of sense to me. And thank you, Michael and Alexa, for the chance to try it out. Let's go play these games. I'm on the draw round 1 against a Giganta deck, which I think the most popular Giganta deck is Death Shadow. I can't keep this 1-lander anyway, but especially not against the Thoughtseize deck. Oh, here we go. I'm going to keep this one. And my options are bottom a land and suspend Crashing Footfalls, or bottom Footfalls and just have more lands available. Like, the 4 lands get me straight to Omnath. I think I'd like to suspend Footfalls. All right, I'm going to put Stomping Ground. Like, if I do think this is Death Shadow, where Thoughtseize is part of the game, I want to be able to present a threat, and Crashing Footfalls is another threat. Okay, no turn 1 play. Maybe this is Jund instead. Okay, I have no idea what fetchable lands are in my deck, but I know that Windswept Heath will get a forest, and then I can make my decision from there. They need blue and green separately to get Shardless Agent onto the stack, and I need green now. Omnath is red. Stomping Ground plus Hallowed Fountain gives me everything. Okay, I'm going to get Stomping Ground. Pay the 2 and suspend my Rhinoceri. There was a video a while ago where I was just riffing and said, like, I have my answer for the next can of rhinos, and I just decided that this is a can of rhinoceroses. I'm not sure where that came from, but it might be my answer from now on. These are cans of rhinos. Okay, I can force a negation or Wrenn and 6 if I need to, if I think that's important. Can't force a negation Tarmogoyf, so I won't. But first Crashing Footfalls ticks down. Ooh, Fire Ice, what's up? I think I want to ice the... Or, yeah, I can't fire the Tarmogoyf. It's 1/2 now, but when fire resolves, it'll be 2/3. That's a trick from the olden days. Yeah, I think I want to tap the Proving Ground. And I can do it off basic island and save some damage. Yeah, that's still cast Shardless Agent next turn. Ice. And this locks in taking 2 damage, but it might stop them from casting spells, which I think is more important. I could have tapped the Tarmogoyf instead. I could have tapped nothing. Okay, here comes the goof. I'm gonna make my first successful can of rhinos here. I think I just want basic planes to protect my life total now, and I am getting up into Omnath next turn anyway. Sure. It's a shame this isn't Violent Outburst, then I could ambush the Tarmogoyf in combat. But it's still a bunch of creatures on a board versus Tarmogoyf. I'll take it. It's currently a 3/4. When Saga dies next turn, it'll be 4/5. Can't play Street Wraith because they have Giganta. I was just thinking of like ways to dump a creature for free. No attacks. You love to see it. By fetching the way I did, I can't hardcast Force of Negation right now. Not till I make my land drop. Oh, Binding. That's really good. Could bind the Goyf and just bash. If I fetch Indotha Triome, that makes Leyline Binding cost 1. And Leyline Binding already costs 2. I'm just going to attack with my Rhinos. If they like Lightning Bolt Shardless Agent, Goyf becomes 5/4 because Shardless Agent is a artifact. Fatal Push. I can counter that, or I can just remove Tarmogoyf. I think that's fine. That doesn't change the size of Goyf. Okay, I can play Omnath now, or I can do that next turn and just protect myself this turn. Yeah, I get a fresh can of rhinos next turn. I like the idea of protecting myself. Indotha Triome does make green, so I would have green, red, blue, white for Omnath still. Wait, can I fetch Indotha Triome with Scalding Tarn? Is the other color blue on that one? I don't even know. No, Scalding Tarn doesn't fetch this land. Never mind. I was planning around nothing. I am going to fetch around Pithing Needle, though. At least give myself that out. And this has to be red or green, this land. And I want it to be blue. So Breeding Pool or Steam Vents both play. I think I want Breeding Pool. They go to 10 off that shock. A Shadow Spear I'm fine with. I can just exile the Tarmogoyf. Ooh, 4 mana for Soul of Windgrace. Enters the battlefield or attacks, put a land card from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Okay, that's pretty cool. Can't counter it either. You get your Saga back. Good stuff. Which makes Tarmogoyf smaller again. Now I have something much more interesting to Leyline bind. If I want to take 3 from Tarmogoyf to do it. Shocked in their land for turn. Nile Spellbomb, that's fine. Oh, that makes the construct bigger. That's what we're doing here. But still no attacks. That's great news. Because now I can bind this Soul of Windgrace, which is bigger than Tarmogoyf anyway. Get rid of this card. And get my fresh can of Rhinos, and then I get Omnath, and I would love to draw a fetch land here. These Rhinos do not have haste. And, oh, Teferi. That's good too. How do I want to handle this? I could bounce the construct and just bash. That actually sounds pretty good. Right, Teferi, get after it. Bounce the construct. Fury. I could also just kill Tarmogoyf and let it rip, but I'm already ripping here. They can't block my 4/4. I mean, they can. It's just not a good block. 2 cards in their hand. Saga can make a construct next turn. I can force Pitching Force on the scariest of things, like something that would destroy my Leyline binding. I'd want to force. They can gain life by throwing the Tarmogoyf into the 2 Rhinos. With Shadow Spear's help. Could just try to draw a card with Spellbomb. And they got options here. Going for the Shadow Spear equip. This is a 4/5 creature now. I think I force a removal spell. Like if they just Fatal Push me here. Luckily, I'll know going into combat if I need to do that or not because Teferi. But I don't want them to get any good attacks. But if they attack here and go to 10, I just crack back for 14. And it doesn't even matter. I still have 10 power in play. Okay, just passing. So Fury's going to do it here. Deal. Cool. All right. Draw for turn. Plus Teferi. And then, oh, you can put an artifact in the graveyard at instant speed. Target player's graveyard. Do I have things that you don't? Do you have things that I don't? Oh, Fury only deals 4. Never mind. We're not in there yet. I would have to... Oh, I could Ardent Plea, which gives my Rhino Exalted. Attacking around still does 10, but they can block with the Saga token. Bummer. Yeah, this is close. Closer than I want it to be. I could just Omnath up, see where it goes. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Red, green, blue, white. Let's find a fetch land. And a second Omnath. Another 4/4, but that's all it is. I'm just going to pass here. I've got Fury. My board's getting bigger. They're not attacking through me here. I can force twice if I need to. Fetched in the end step. They're going to Spellbomb, which is going to... Yeah, if you target me, we lose sorceries. If you target yourself, you lose artifacts. Yeah, I think my attack was actually okay there. Whoops. Should have spent more time figuring out that combat math, but I was so excited to cast Omnath. The spells in this deck are so good. Tarmogoyf... Oh wait, no. Tarmogoyf was 4/5 even without that. Never mind. Yeah, I didn't have a good attack. All right. No, I did do the math. Just don't give myself credit for doing math. Because I usually don't. Bomb themselves. That does the least damage to Tarmogoyf. Another construct. And what's the tutor? Another Spellbomb. You got it. Tireless Tracker. Okay. That does make a lot of artifacts. Making these constructs pretty big. And still immune to Force of Negation. Distressingly. Tarmogoyf has the same bad attack it had last turn. How about a fetch land? Ooh, Beseiju. That's pretty good. And it does cost 1 less because I control a legendary thing. I could ardently make another can of Rhinos. All right, I'm going to plea. And play another Footfalls. The constructs can get bigger at instant speed, so I got to be careful with that. If I attack with 1 Rhino, what happens? It's a 5/5. They can make many different 6/6s. All of which get messed up by Beseiju. Oh, wait, no, they don't, because you get a land drop. Okay, I'm just going to hold back. Almost messed that one up. Yeah, the Beseiju, hilariously, can take an artifact out of play, but then also give them an artifact when they hit their land drop off the clues. Yeah, they're really scrapping in here. I respect it. Teferi can mine us next turn, though, which is a major game on this battlefield. Oh, wait. Okay, I was 1 attacker short of killing them, because killing Shadow Spear, it doesn't matter how big the constructs are if they can't gain life. And next turn, I'll have enough 4/4s to go wide around all of that. Wrist. This is a creature. Bummer. All right. Well, all their creatures are important. So if they just want to take out Omnath here, or take out Teferi, sure. All right. I guess that was about to draw a card and remove material from play, but it just removed material from play anyway. Ren 6. Been sitting on this Force Negation the whole game. Let's just get that paid out. They're passing the turn. I'm going to Beseiju the Shadow Spear in the end step. Use my mana while I can. And we got plenty of 4/4s to win this game. I have high confidence that was not played perfectly, but it was powerful enough it didn't matter. Okay, they're an Urza Saga deck, which is what Crime Punishment are for. We're mostly here for punishment. Destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value X. That destroys all of the constructs and the Saga itself for 2 mana. And we do have Indatha Triome in the deck to cast it. Good stuff. Wear Tear. Destroy target artifact and enchantment, kills the Saga and the first thing that comes out of it. I don't know if we need to go that deep. Let's see what cards are bad here. And honestly, Force Negation seemed pretty bad this whole time. We were just waiting for a Ren 6 and they cast 1,000,000 creatures. And they could have like Void Mirrors or Chalice of the Voids this game. What's my plan for that? There's 1 Brazen Borrower, the Leyline Bindings, the Teferis. Oh, the Wear Tears. Okay. Yeah, I think reacting to the board is better than holding up counter magic in this matchup. Because Crime Punishment and Wear Tear are both 1/1 potential 2/1s. Force Negation's almost always a 1/2. Is anything worse than Endurance? Like if I want to put more Endurances in the deck, because they do use their graveyard. I don't think so. Dead Gone is good. Fire Ice is good. I'm in for this. I have a hand that is very good against Jund and very bad against Chalice of the Void. Oh wait, I can curve Beseiju. Nope. Snapkeep. Beseiju on 2. Untap Violent Outburst. Hell yeah. This hand is resilient to discard because I have 2 of the thing I care most about. Yep. My thoughts are seized. I'm going to play a land that can fetch Indatha Triome, which is all the lands in my hand, because I do want to prioritize that one, now that there's actually black cards in my deck. There's a Goyf, already 3/4. Thoughtseize, pretty effective in that world. Indatha Triome. Brazen Borrower, what's up? Alright, now I have multiple answers to Chalice. Yeah, I forgot about the Beseijus when I was in sideboarding. Looking for answers to Chalice, but we did it. 3 damage is fine. Pithing Needle. Probably going to name Beseiju. So I'm going to fetch, I think, Hallowed Fountain here. Or Steam Vents covers all my colors. Indatha Triome plus Steam Vents is all 5. And cast anything I need to cast. Okay. Jack that in. I'm hoping for a Pithing Needle on Beseiju, Chalice on 0, go. And then I just bounce the Chalice and we're in crazy mode. Oh, naming Teferi, sure. Do I want to just zap that? Do I want to ramp them? I think Teferi will be important to this game. I'll just hit the needle now. which does make Goyf bigger. Getting Proving Ground, pretty powerful stuff. I could get basic planes here to conserve my life total. Goyf is 4/5. Actually, the way this game is played out, I don't even know that I want to make a can of Rhinos right now. I could just bounce Goyf. Got a card deeper into my deck. And then with Teferi in play, the can of Rhinos is a safer interaction. Because like I'd hate to double block and then just get smeared by Fatal Push. Alright. Omnath's pretty good too. There's a lot of decisions to make with this deck. Saga, okay. Ooh, this is not a Tarmogoyf, this is a Windgrace. Okay. What are the words on this? Draw a card, discard a land card, gains indestructible. Okay. Gain 3 life, draw a card, indestructible are the 3 things this does. Oh, you can put a land from anyone's graveyard? Oh, that's sick. They stole my Beseiju. This is also just graveyard hate and Ren and 6 mirrors. A cool card. Okay. I can outburst into the soul, put 2 4/4s in front of it. They might be able to make it indestructible. But that's... Or I could pitch an outburst now, Fury this thing, when they can't make it indestructible, because that's a 3 mana ability. Or I could just wait. Yeah, I'm going to chill. Like, I'm 1 fetch land away from, or really any... No, it is a fetch land. I'm a fetch land away from just hard casting Fury next turn. And I can bounce this soul, which isn't the most exciting thing. But it's not bad either. Alright, I mean, that Thoughtseize was pretty good. But I have 2 copies of Outburst, which is the card I was planning on casting, so go ahead. Take my Omnath. And the soul abilities aren't free. You have to discard a land card, which, unless Ren and 6 is pumping, isn't a guarantee. Okay, they're ready to party here. If they discard a land card to give this thing indestructible, that's... They don't get to activate Saga this turn. That's a 3 mana ability. Yeah, they just realized that's not a thing they want to do. Tarmogoyf's back. Pretty big, 5/6. In the end step, let's get our first can of Rhinos. Crashing Footfalls on the stack, Teferi protecting it. Land would be great here. Second Fury. Not really what I want. They get to make 2 constructs and tutor this turn. Still think my second can of Rhinos is the most exciting thing I can do here, or just hold a Brazen Borrower. Construct. I'm going to fetch the Rockrin Triome in response to the search here. I don't want my fetch land needled. Triome checks the most boxes. There's no Ren and 6 in my deck, so I don't need to worry about leaving a Cycler where I can find it. Shadow Spear is pretty good. If you equip Shadow Spear, you lose the ability to activate Soul of Windgrace. They've seen the second Outburst. Goyf and Soul coming in. Oh, right, when it attacks, it does this too. I forgot about that. Cool. You get your Saga back. That's cool. Here's some Rhinos. The Outburst also makes the Rhinos bigger, which does not matter on this board, but it is relevant on some boards. If Tarmogoyf was 4/5 instead of 5/6, that would actually be a difference maker. Okay, I'm going to block Windgrace with 1 and Tarmogoyf with 2. Yeah, makes sense. They did not discard a land card to keep Windgrace. Looking for an untapped land off the top and just get furious on this board. Fatal Push, sure. Much better as a sorcery for me. Terminate, okay. Wipe my squad out, but I can answer their squad right now. Oh yeah. Teferi plus Brazen Borrower would have answered the squad, but now I can send Urza Saga back to hand. Roast a construct. Yeah, I get to just start whipping Furies at my opponent for the next 2 turns. Or I could bounce Shadow Spear and Fury both constructs, let them have Saga. I think I like that. Bounce Shadow Spear. Oh, it got better. With mana value X. Yep, this is exactly what this is in the deck for. I need to cast Punishment. Or... Oh no, I don't have black and green. They're both on the same land. Help. Alright, fine. I'll just Fury my opponent's board away. that was avoidable with different fetching. The Triome, I already had enough white and blue. Should have prioritized a green land there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shadow Spear in your hand. Fury in play. If I find a black or green source, I guess my black source is in play. If I find a green source, I'm set up. They've seen Brazen Borrower and the 2 Furies, so they know what they have to go through here. Wrenn and 6, pretty good. Much worse without Soul of Windgrace in the mix. Picked up Verdant Catacombs. Yeah, fetching with a 5-color mana base, there's a lot to keep track of. Serious business. Get 2 clues off of this, which also grows the future constructs. Oh no. Black, oh, just cracking a clue. That's fine. I was like, what is this devilry? Black spell, just smallpox me. So punishment does sweep up clues as well. Oh. Or we can just continue being furious. Now the question is, do I care about Wrenn and 6? Or do I want to just light up my opponent's life total? And I think I just want to light up their life total. Like, they get to pick up and replay Saga next turn. I'm going to put a damage on Wrenn because it's free, but just going face here makes sense to me. They're dead in 1 attack from a Fury after this first one connects. And I have 3 of them while they're in top deck mode. Oh, we got the GGs in the chat. I agree with your assessment. Yeah, I made some mistakes there figuring out what lands to fetch. Interesting. A lot of decisions to be made once you hit 3 mana in this deck. Really cool shit. And still, we're not in any danger of losing either of those games. Let's keep it going. This deck is good. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe even join their team, contact them through their website, 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube channel to catch every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play with a crazy looking hand. I guess this is the thing that can happen in this deck. I'm going to keep this. It's got mana set up. It's got a play that can also cantrip and a ton of interaction. When I play a deck like this, my default is just don't mulligan 7s if they do anything until I know the matchup. Like if this turns out to be Living End or whatever, you got me. But I can interact, I can draw cards, I can kill creatures. All I want to do is buy time, and my cards will eventually catch up to me, and this hand's very good at doing that. A Raggy. And look at this. I immediately paid off with a long-term game plan. You're fired. 1 to the Rag, 1 to the opponent. As much as I would like to wait till their turn so they can't dash another copy, I also don't want to get counterspelled or spell pierced. If they're going to give me a sweet little one like that. They probably thought they were safe because I'm a Yorion deck. Ooh, 1-lander. That means their hand is good, but it also means it's exploitable. I'm just going to make my can of Rhinos right now. And do I care about my life total? Is Basic Forest as good as anything else here? No, it's not, because I'm holding 2 Furies, so Stomping Ground will at least get me into that world. All right. And I am just going now. Don't want my Rhinos counterspelled, but I think they will win the game. Opponent's at 16, dead in 2 hits. Missing land drops. And they're just done. Okay, get out of here. I have been told that Is It Murktide is a good matchup for 60 card Rhinos. I have not lost the matchup myself from the Murktide side, but my sample size is small. Endurance very good though. They are probably going to bring in Blood Moons against me. Do I need Wear Tear on top of Leyline Binding, Fetching Basics, and Beseju, and Teferi, and Brazen Borrower? Probably not. Okay. Re-Endurance is coming in. What do we cut in a matchup like this one? I can force a negation on if I Cascade on their turn, which I don't know if that's that important. Just bashing to the board here. They might have Chalices too. Sometimes these decks have Chalice. Sometimes they just rely on Spell Pierce and their various counter spells. Mystical Dispute seems like it's going to be good here, no matter what. Dead Gron's great. Fire Ice is great. Brazen Borrower is great. Do you ever shave a Cascade spell? Just like one less Rhino in the deck to get access to some counter magic? And cascading is important, so I don't want to go too thin on that. I could see arguments for all 4 Mystical Disputes. I think jamming Rhinos down their throat is the best game plan. All right, I'm going to keep it light and go in like this. Just a Solitude. This one is a bridge too far compared to what I said last game where like I had some stuff to do, and like this doesn't even have a white card to pitch. I'm going to ship this one. Oh yeah. I'm going to keep this, and contrary to what I did in a previous round, I am going to bottom the Crashing Footfalls. I have 2 Cascaders and the mana here. Like I want all my spells compared to the last time I did this where I actually did want access to book. All right. Well, 1 can of Rhinos on suspend. Glad I bottomed one of the other ones, because that would make all 4 covered if I hadn't bottomed the first one. The 2 Cascades plus the 2 in hand. Ledger Shredder. That's pretty good against my Cascade deck. Mystical Dispute, I'm pretty happy to see. Windswept Heath can get basic planes if it has to in response to a Blood Moon. Basic Mountain doesn't really matter, and my basic Forest is already in play. I guess I should have led on... Oh. I'm going to take the opportunity to zap this, and I'm going to use Breeding Pool to do it. Breeding Pool gives me Endurance and Shardless Agent. Yeah, I think this is worth clipping. I am a tempo deck. I'm trying to get these Rhinos into play. Unsuspend the Rhino. Okay, basic Island is nice to have access to. I think I might test with Endurance this turn, and then, or see how they spend their mana. Like, I don't want to jam a Rhino into Spell Pierce, and if I just wait for 2 land drops, that's not a problem anymore. Can't Spell Pierce Endurance. I'm gonna get basic Island. This can get counterspelled. It could get hardcast, Mystical Disputed. Yeah, counterspell's fine. Just looking for room here. This and land drops, so they do have a handful of spells. Leyline Binding, hello. I can get a Plains variant. I think I want to wait, because my Footfalls, like if they've been sandbagging a Chalice to this point, I want to interact with that. Okay, Expressive Iteration happens. Now we're at the clutch mode where I want these Rhinos to happen. I want to have 8 Rhinos in play when I pass next turn, or them to have 0 creatures. This needs to be Sacred Foundry, so I can cast Leyline Binding and Violent Outburst. I'm going to do this in the end step. Bind the Shredder. They have a counterspell, they get to Connive, but then I get to dump a bunch of Rhinos into play. Consider in response to Connive. See a bunch of cards here. This takes counterspell off the table for the first set of Rhinos, and Spell Pierce is also off. Can of Rhinos. All right, I mean, let's just keep whipping them. The flip side of keep whipping them is Engineered Explosives. So I'm gonna pass with Violent Outburst available. That unlocks counterspell, but they kept this hand for a reason, and I haven't been impressed yet. Okay, if they're Unholy Heating these, then they don't have a sweeper. I'll make another Cannon Rhinos right now. Yeah, while they're tapped out of Spell Pierce. If that was bait, they sold it extremely well. That would have been pretty bad bait. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay, you can bounce a Rhino and then lose Jace. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna attack Jace with one of these and my opponent with the other, and then make 2 more. A relentless crush of Rhinoceri. I'm gonna leave up blue mana. Just for funsies. Okay. I have 18 power in play. Go. Cracking the Fiery Islet. And we're out of here. I don't know what they ended the game with in their hand, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 5 or at least 4 spells because they missed the land drop at one point. and those spells never got to be used. Maybe it was the Spell Pierce I played around. Maybe it was a counter spell that we danced around. I don't know, but yeah, that felt pretty clean. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. On the play in round 3 with a great one, I'm going to keep. I've got Solitude, a white card to pitch, Teferi, if I don't pitch it, and a can of Rhinos ready to go. I'm going to lead on Flooded Strand that I think is going to get Indotha Triome. That gives me green and white. I have basic island in hand, which that casts my whole hand. Opponent mulligan to 6, no companion, and then Watery Grave go. Indotha Triome. Ooh, a Fire Ice. Good shit. I'm going to play basic island and pass. Oh, that doesn't let me fire. Damn, this deck's so hard to manage the mana on. I could ice the Watery Grave now, but I think I'd wait to the end step. Hedron Crab. Oh, we're doing this. Okay. I think Teferi's going to pitch to exile this thing. Or, yeah, it would have been great to fire this. Fucking dumbass. Me. Dumbass me. Just milled over my 1 endurance. Yep, would have been great to fire this, but here we are. I'm going to ice the swamp, just in case. And if I Sacred Foundry, then I don't turn on Archive Trap. Okay, Sacred Foundry. I have green-blue off the other lands. Okay. Green-blue, Mana Rhinos. Being a Yorion deck, have natural insulation to the mill strategy. And I am going to exile this Hedron Crab. Punished immediately by bad fetching. I could still have Solitude and Teferi in hand if I had Fire Iced correctly. Field of Ruin. Alright, so they can force a shuffle here. This is not optional, I believe. Each player searches, yeah. You can always fail to find, but you can't always fail to search. Magic is weird like that. Since they can make me search anyway, I'll play this Misty Rainforest and cast Teferi. If they're going to do this, they got to do it now. Oh, Drown in the Loch. That works. Attack for 10. Opponent's at 10. And I can cast Fury next turn. There are still basics in my deck for Field of Ruin. Tasha's Heinous Anus. Sure. Exile a bunch of cards. 12 cards exiled from my deck. And unless you have Fatal Push, you're dead. Not cracking this fetch land if I don't have to. Attack with all my creatures. And the opponent's life points go to 0. Cool. Messed up and still won. You love to see it. I like Mystical Dispute. I like Endurance. Endurance is here to target me, so I don't lose to decking. Dead Gone, Fire Ice, all good. Beating up on the crabs. Brazen Borrower seems medium. They're going to have some sort of hate, probably Chalices, or they can't play Void Mirror in their Archive Trap deck. So probably Chalices. I still want to put the heat on them. I don't want to slim down too much on board interaction. In Force of Negation, stopping a key mill spell is good, but with 4 Endurance and an 80 card deck and a quick clock, I kind of want to just ignore them going after my deck. And I have all the Mystical Disputes in, so I'm turning these 2-for-1s into 1-for-1s. And I think Plea is the worst of the Cascade spells, and I think that's where I'm reaching next. Okay. No idea if that's right, but yeah, if you have any experience with this deck, let me know in the comments if you ever shave off the 12 Cascade spells. I mean, please, obviously the worst one, but Solitude, Fury, Leyline Binding, Omnath, like every other spell has significant value in this matchup. Okay. I can answer a crab. I'm going to keep. My opponent's username, by the way, is the entire Wu-Tang Clan. Great name. Sheldock Isle. That's maybe scary. I don't know. I'm used to Legacy where that always kills you. I don't know if that's the case here. I'm going to Stomping Ground tapped and pass the turn. I'll have to fetch eventually, but I guess it's not getting better, right? Maybe I should have prioritized a fetch. Mesmeric Orb. Fun. Okay. I mill 1 for that. Lost my Teferi. I probably just fire off here, right? Yeah, it's not getting better. I agree with my original assessment. And I want the colors I don't have, which would be white, blue, which is Hallowed Fountain. Okay. No untaps. Do you have the trap? Nope. Cool. Torpor Orb and Archive Trap milled. The coast is clear, fam. Torpor Orb's actually really dangerous for them. Oh, if they field me, I get to make a can of Rhinos. Nope, another orb. Sure. Okay, they didn't have an Archive Trap last turn. I suspect they still don't now. I'm just going to take my fetches where I think they're good. I can already Violent Outburst. I want to leave a basic in my deck. There are 3 basics in my deck still, but I want to leave some of them behind. And white, blue, red. A Temple Garden gives me Omnath next turn. Oh, maybe I should not have untapped into Drown in the Loch. Interesting. Yeah, balancing Drown in the Loch versus having a surprise available. Okay, yeah, and they hit the forest, or the swamp, whatever this thing is. Oh, top card, easy game. All right, I got my can of Rhinos. And then I'm going to mill 6. Dispute, Shardless Agent, Endurance, Outburst, Agent. Draw for turn. Oh, Endurance. Now we're in spicy mode. Back for 8. And I'm going to play Omnath. Just pile on the 4/4s now. Let's keep it going. Opponent's at 12. I have 12 power in play. They would need some kind of sweeper. That's a sweeper. That would qualify. I agree. So I mill 8 here, then I get to... Oh, yeah, it's 8. Then I get to Omnath. Draw for turn, Omnath. Then land, trigger, fetch, get some mana. This has to be a green source because I want to Endurance. Or I can Endurance anytime. I could get a red source here and just Fury up. Yeah, all right. Here's Fury. I'm going to target nobody with Fury's ability and pass the turn. Once again, Lethal's on board. Visions of Beyond. Do I want them to draw that many cards? No. There are 21 cards in my graveyard. Yeah, I'm going to pitch cast Endurance, target myself. They only get 1 card off of this thing. Let Endurance die first so it shuffles in with all the other cards. Alright, opponent's got 2 cards. They're about to draw another. They mill 10, which does not quite get them into Sheldock Isle. Nothing with Flashback in the graveyard. Hedron Crab, okay. Land hits me for 3. Oh, Field of Ruin. They can field twice and hit me for 6 more cards. Does that matter? And Crab can block. And if they field me, Omnath triggers, but they're not really fighting my life total anyway. Going after my Hallowed Fountain. I'll get a blue one. Gain 4 life. I milled Endurance, Misty, Leyline Binding. Fatal Push, Omnath. Alright, that was a pretty good last few cards in hand. I milled for a bunch. Draw for turn. Leyline Binding is not lethal. is my Triome in my graveyard? It's not. Okay, so I can get 1 mana Leyline here. Into the Triome is in the mix. Can my opponent block? Do they want to block? I'm going to attack and give them the option. I think I'm more worried about Mesmeric Orb this game. Then put Yorion in my hand. And I want to bind now. Because them milling themselves for this much gets them closer to Shelldock Isle, which is a spell, which I don't want them to have. Fractured Sanity in the graveyard. Still nothing that operates from the graveyard. Just milled a Crypt Incursion. That's scary. A lot of life points. Okay. Milling a bunch more shit here. Endurance in the graveyard. Drew Violent Outburst, which is not lethal, unfortunately. Do I have any Rhinos left? 1, 2... Yes, there are Rhinos left. I can put them to 1 and make a can of Rhinos. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, that sounds better than playing Yorion. And put a land to play. This just taps fewer lands, gets fewer mills off of the orb. They could have floated a bunch of mana in the end step and got themselves into the Shelldock Isle. That card must not be important. Because they could have been going for it a little more aggressively. Okay, and the interactive game plan, Endurance, and 80 card deck defeated Mill. Good news, everybody. Mill undefeated, keep rolling. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm going first in a Yorion mirror. I'm going to keep this. I have my first can of Rhinos and some interaction ready. Wooded Foothills go. Yeah, the mirror is the real test. Oh, please, Abundant Growth. Give me that old school tech. Alright, cool. They're on Old World, non-Rhino version. I need a red source here. Or red-green. Yeah, I want to get red-green off of this, so that is the Stomping Ground. It's a fairy. Hello. I'm going to ice their land in the upkeep. I don't know if... I mean, like this turns off Wrenn and 6 and turns off Counterspell going into my turn, all of which are things that I don't really want to occur. Force Negation is cool. And now we splatter. Look at these lands. I can already cast... Oh, I can't cast a fairy, so I need another blue or a white source. And now double red and double white represented going long. Getting a second blue makes sense because I'm also holding Force of Negation, so Breeding Pool looks like the winner. Though Steam Vents gets me closer to the Fury. Yeah, there's more Furies in my deck than Endurances. They both get me towards Omnath. Steam Vents is the one. And can of Rhinos. Crushing Footfalls. 10 power in play, go. And I can force their Teferi if that's their play. If I think that's important. Because I also have my own Teferi. Yeah, this is something that this build of the deck does that their build of the deck doesn't, which is put 10 power into play on turn 3. This is exactly what I was talking about in the deck tech of, is Omnath your first spell of the game or your last spell of the game? And what that means for tempo and gameplay. Like now Wrenn and 6 is completely irrelevant. This Hail Mary expressive iteration. I mean, they're probably trying to hit Prismatic Ending. Is like the one meaningful piece of interaction they could do with one land. EI exiled EI, just the full anticipate. And they're fetching, so they either have... Alright, this looks like Prismatic Ending. Now the question is, do I want to force this and just go upstairs? Or stick my own Teferi? Because their next play is going to be Omnath. And I want them dead on board when that happens, so I am going to go for it here. Just Delver them out. Hit my land. That's cool. Put you to 7. And they could Solitude. Like, there's a lot of things they could do to not die right away. And then I'm going to put Yorion in hand. Because my mana's not going anywhere else. Might as well. Okay, they're at 6. Ooh, okay. That's not in every main deck, but smart innovation, given that the mirror is now doing Rhino stuff. Okay, cool. I'm going to hold up Solitude and pass the turn. Fury is lethal, but if they go for Omnath, I can pick it off in response to its draw trigger. And then I don't have to deal with that, and I have an attacker in play. Disappointing. I am at least going to play the Solitude. Got Breeding Pool and Basic Island. Nope, I need a white source, Temple Garden. Because if I don't cast the Solitude, then they get to bounce their Abundant Growth and draw 2 cards. And bouncing Solitude, I still have it, and then I get to cast Fury and finish off the Teferi. Ooh, they plus Teferi. That's cool. Interesting. So I'm going to attack Teferi with Solitude, then finish it off with Fury. And they could counterspell. Attack Teferi. Okay, Unholy Heat does the trick here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to light up this Teferi. It doesn't die, but I do get real pressure on it. It doesn't get to draw a card. It does get to protect Omnath for a turn. Okay. Did we get outmaneuvered? I think if they had Omnath in hand, they wouldn't have fetched in the end step. Just maximize land drops. Progressive iteration. Okay. This tests them out of 5 mana spells. So they'd have to pitch cast a Fury or a Solitude to take out my Fury, which is at least a 2-for-1. What I didn't want to happen here was they untap, cast the next elemental to pick off mine, and we're in just like elemental combat where their deck is much better than mine. Eladamri's Call and Exile. Okay. They can call for a Solitude or Fury and answer my Fury because they're dead. Okay, yeah, there's Fury. Sure. A beautiful boy. Plus Teferi, land, and pass. Ooh, my very own. Gonna go for it. See if you have counterspell. See if I can draw a land. Oh, bummer. Am I just supposed to cast Yorion there? Yorion has other value. Oh, dress down, sure. I still have a 4/4. Fair enough. Go. Plus Teferi again. They're at 4 life. Teferi's providing a lot of safety, though. 2 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't play Yorion here. Ending for 4, sure. Did not put Yorion in hand, though they could have. Another one. Let's try that again. Okay, another dress down, sure. Yeah, they didn't put Yorion in hand when they could have, which did indicate some interaction. I still think Yorion is the highest value thing in my hand. Teferi can minus this turn if they just want to rip into some more action, like bouncing Abundant Growth is pretty big. Draw a bunch of cards. Progressive iteration, good shit. Yeah, getting stable at 4 life over there, which is 1 hit from 1 Rhino. Prismatic Ending, yep, the colors are there. Even do it at instant speed if they want with Teferi. With Teferi plus, now they get a totally free minus next turn. Not going to give me a chance to make a land drop here. Good call. Fury's my best draw. Pick off this Teferi, put lethal in play. That's where I got to be. Rockrin Triome. That is probably better as a cycle than it is as a land. I'm going to play Yorion now. Get to flicker nothing, and Teferi can bounce it, but it's in play. They can get and cast their Yorion all next turn. They're up to 8 mana. Got the Stomping Ground in the end step. Bounced Yorion. Got their own. And they can play it and flicker Abundant Growth and Teferi. Brennan 6. Okay. That doesn't do a whole lot on this board, not until Omnath shows up. Solitude, okay. I think I want to place Yorion, or do I want to play Solitude? This is close. They both died on Unholy Heat. They both get counterspelled. Alright, I'll just play the Yorion, because that's the one they already know about. And I'm probably going to spend 5 mana all of the next few turns, so I am going to get this Triome into play. change my mind based on what I saw last turn and what I see this turn. We have certainly entered the phase of the game that they're much better than me. If we just get into like Battle Cruiser, Solitude, Exile, Yorion, attack kind of stuff, I'm okay with that. But they have 6 cards in hand now. 2 of them are lands, 1 of them's Yorion. That main deck Supreme Verdict was nice. There's the Yorion. It's going to flicker Abundant Growth and Teferi. Flickering Wrenn just leaves on less loyalty. They put their Abundant Growth on their Flooded Strand. Sometimes that's a trick to get Delirium, and sometimes it's because you don't want to fetch anymore. I'm going to Solitude the Yorion and try to clear Teferi. Roast your Yorion. And their life total is already high, and Teferi is stopping my Rhinos from showing up. So Teferi's got to go here. Teferi's going to draw 2 cards next turn as well. Oh, they got interaction. Oh, disappointing. Yeah, that's good interaction. Kind of playing to the clock here now. And they're completely set up. 6 cards in hand, 2 active Planeswalkers. I can't Cascade with Teferi in play. Now we move to the flip side where my deck is built to win quickly, and theirs is not. But we're also at the point of the game where Emrakul can show up at any point. Wrenn is 1 shot or 2 turns away from being ultimate. We've also seen these decks just shit out before on the channel, so we'll see if that holds up or if I just get coddled again. I'm going to keep challenging Teferi because my whole hand, like I could have 18 power in play if Teferi wasn't around. All right, you Solitude, my Solitude. Then I Solitude, your Solitude. I got 1 too. And send it again. The Wrenn is about to become unbeatable next turn. I like if they just bounce Solitude with Teferi plus Wrenn and then Emblem up on the next turn, then they can Unholy Heat and Eladamri's Call and EI with every land they draw. Oh, here's Call. We're just getting Emrakul now. Yep. Selected Emrakul here. I think I just want to concede to Emrakul. I don't really... I don't know. Let's play this out. I'm in bad shape, but still want to play it out. If they draw a fetch land, I'll concede. Guess it doesn't matter. This deck list isn't a secret. Yeah, they can like Cascade twice, kill my Solitude. Their clock is running while they do all this. I'm interested to see how this all plays out. This isn't just wasting clock. I'm also like actively looking for... I'm trying to feel all these play patterns because sometimes Emrakul doesn't win. Like if I just rip Solitude off the top or Omnath into Solitude or something on my turn here, maybe we play. But also punishing the slow version of the deck with the fast version of the deck on clock is reasonable. I probably would have conceded this match already in paper where we share the clock. They should Outburst second main. Yeah, that's the one that doesn't put a creature into play, and I didn't gain an extra life because of the +1/+0. They literally can't cast the Rhinos because of Teferi. If it was Chalice, they could slam my Rhinos into it, but can't cast it at all. Come on, Solitude! Solitude! Alright. I'm ready to concede now. Up 5 minutes on the clock. We were dead on board. They attack with Emrakul and then poke me with Wrenn. Don't need to make them do all that. Okay, Mystical Dispute seems really good. Beating up on those early. Teferi's. I mean, Teferi changed that whole game, like a Leyline Binding or a Second Fury, or if one of my combats got through, we're having a different game. They are not the Delirium version. We saw Unholy Heat, but we didn't see Traverse, and we did see 2 copies of Eladamri's Call. Dead Gone does not seem very good. Their creatures are bigger than that. I can kill like Solitude. This doesn't hit Planeswalkers. Not interested. I like the Tempo of Fire Ice. And we did see Counterspell. Makes Teferi good. I like Brazen Borrower. Oh, I like all the cards. I'm going to shave 2 Ardent Pleas again. That's just kind of... I don't know if I'm settling into a comfort zone or if that really is just the worst 2 cards. Because if they have Teferi or Chalice or any hate, I want to back off the Cascade stuff a little bit anyway. But I also like kind of need to Cascade to win the game because they're a better Omnath deck than I am. So I need my angle. Do I want Endurance in the deck at all? Is that important? It is like a tempo body. If I want to like cut, I need to cut another card for the 4th Dispute anyway. Like if I want to go full tempo, maybe on the draw, I change some more Cascade stuff for Endurances, but on the play where I can punch through, want to keep it. All right, I'm going to try this. My hand in game 2 does not make any Rhinos. It does have binding, and it's going to cost 1 when I get there. I'm going to try this, though. I wish it was a little more proactive. All right, try get in there. They're making a fetch. Oh, it would be sick to force a negation Abundant Growth, and then they have to play on basic forest with their 4-color deck. That would be aggressive as fuck. I don't know if I can get behind that. I'm just going to land pass. I think if I get the other Triome here, that's all the card types, and then I can Season to Taste with... Oh, I can fetch Rockrin Triome. That gives me the Plains of the Island. Yeah, I could actually turn 1 Leyline Binding, or turn 2. I could have Leyline Binded. I ran in 6 right now. It's cool. Yeah, I'm going to get the Rockrin. Another Binding. It kind of makes me wish I cast the first one. But now I can Force of Negation, a Teferi, Eladamri's Call. This is aggressive and early. I'm going to let it happen. Solitude, okay. Getting set up on Solitude action. I'm ready to hardcast Force on a Teferi, or an EI, or basically anything this turn. Or Blood Moon. That's a thing that's sometimes in these decks. Would love to counter that. Okay, Abundant Growth. I don't think that's the fight. Like Ren and 6 Teferi, the Blood Moon I just mentioned, there's a lot of really powerful cards in this deck that I need to counter. I want Steam Vents here. I want to work on my red sources and get Force of Negation up. Outburst is good. This is pressure I can apply. Making another Eladamri's Call in the end step. This one might be Omnath. Still going to let it happen. There's a lot of bait, yeah. That's Omnath. I can remove that and make a can of Rhinos if they play it. Aggressive Iteration. I'm not going to fight over that now. Now that I would have forced that last turn, I think, but having the Violent Outburst in hand now makes me want to hold on to that. They can't counterspell with the mana they have. Let's take a spin. Footfalls. We're in there. We know they have a Solitude, at the very least. I would love to get a Pitchcast Solitude out of the way here. They have to clean up, go to discard. It's a lot of Leyline Bindings. I'm going to attack with my creatures, and this turn I can Leyline Binding with Force of Negation back up. And it sucks I know they're sitting on Omnath and Solitude. But this is where the tempo game comes in. I can't counter the Solitude. I can remove it and keep attacking. I can answer the Omnath. Prismatic Ending. This is worth a Force to me. White, blue, blue. Then there are other white sources I can fetch with Windswept Teeth to cast Leyline Binding, which does cost 1 right now. Well, that was good bait. Can't Leyline Bind now. They can bounce a Rhino, play a land. I'm still not cracking this fetch because I do want to draw lands, like so. And I'm going to attack my opponent. Yeah, I want to get their life total down. The 2 Furies, I just found land number 5 to start punching through their creatures when they show up. Opponent goes to 5. And then time to bind the Leyline. Get rid of Teferi. Pitching Solitude in response, sure. Pitching Omnath, wow, okay. Get rid of my Rhino. There he goes. I think this means I want to put Yorion in hand. If I fetch for basic island here, Still want to respect Blood Moon a little bit. That's a thing that can happen. I have red. I'll have white when I fetch. Yeah, I'll put Yorion in hand, and I'm still holding up a binding if they go for Omnath this turn. EI is going to resolve. Exiled and played Temple Garden off of that. Tap land pass. Alright, come on. Another can of Rhinos. I will run lands out there. I'm not just going to play a Down and Dirty Fury. Now we're just playing kind of a Elementals game. And the Elementals game tends to favor the person who moves second. Yeah, we're just playing an Elementals game where I'm up on clock and life total. And if I don't mess up, I should be able to find the extra point somewhere. Okay, Omnath resolves. And then I'm going to bind it. They can fetch to gain 4 life, but they're not going to get 4 mana out of this. Teferi is becoming a complete nightmare, though. Like, if Teferi shows up, bounces my binding, triggers Omnath. Scary stuff. Opponent goes to 8, off their fetch, draws a card. Come on, Omnath. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could put Yorion into play. I could play a Fury. Really don't want to. Alright, I'm just going to pass again. Maybe I should be playing one of these Furies, but with 5 cards in hand, I know their deck plays removal. I just don't want to be like the sucker who gets my Fury Furied and then I'm behind in the exchange the whole time. EI. Flooded Strand, you got it. Come on, Rhinos. Can of Rhinos. The Cascade version, not the actual can. They added Yorion to hand. Okay, there's a can of Rhinos. I'm going to get my basic planes here. Leave my good mana up. Crashing Footfalls. I have my Rhinos. And pass the turn. I can Leyline bind one more time, and I have this pile of Furies. The Exalted up Ardently means a Rhino beats Yorion in combat. Kind of rules. 8 cards in hand over there. That's so many. Grim Verdict, yep. That's going to get me every time. Let's keep the Rhinos coming. I'm going to hold back that land and step Coatl, sure. That is a win condition eventually. It's also a target for Fury. Like, give me literally anything to point my Fury at, and I'm in. It's a really good extra permanent to have in play if you're going for Yorion this turn anyway. To draw 3 cards, have to discard 2. Iteration. Veil of Summer in the exile zone, okay. Probably going to use that an excuse to shove Yorion into play. Oh, Teferi. Yeah, that's a good one too. Then Teferi, this is exactly the thing I've been talking about. Teferi, bounce my Leyline, get back Omnath, go nuts. Oh, they plus Teferi. That's lucky. I'll take that. I ran in 6 now that the floodgates are open. It's going nuts over there. Picked up a Flooded Strand and played it. Oh, there's my can of Rhinos right after the Teferi shows up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1 mana short of clearing Teferi and playing Fury and doing Rhinos. I could bind the Teferi and then see if that resolves before I mess with anything else. I think I want to start with Fury, though. Fury, get in there. Kraken fetches. There's a counter spell. Make my land drop and then exile Teferi. It successfully baited the counter spell on the card I cared less about. Like, Fury was still good, but getting Teferi out of play was really the important job there. If they have a Boseiju in their deck with this Ren active now and picking off my bindings, I'm in trouble. They just picked up the cycle land though. Yorion going for the big draw 3 here. And all these cards come back. They draw 3. They have to discard one of them. What the shit? Until I'm turned, if a creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. Okay. I see. I see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can Fury and then Violent Outburst, if that matters. All right. Here's Fury. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure I have green. I have a basic forest. Yeah, green's good to go. Oh, I need another red. Okay, it has to be this one. 1 to Coatl and 3 to Ren. And oh, I didn't even need that. Oh, I was a mana short last turn because I was trying to play the land Cascade and Binding. All right, so I'm just going to pass with Violent Outburst up. They do have to deal with this Fury somehow. Ren picked up Flooded Strand. Fairy, okay, it's go time. I need a red and a green here. There are basics of both. So green, red. And I'm going to outburst in response to the Teferi. You get to bounce one of the Rhinos, but at least, like, this is 3 lethal creatures. They can clear one of them, block another. Going for my moves here. I don't expect this opponent with 8 cards in their hand to have too much trouble here, though. And now I need an Omnath. Plus their Teferi. And Yorion attacks. There's actually a cool thing here where I have 2 Teferis under Leyline bindings. If I exile those 2 bindings, the Teferi gets legend ruled. And I can bind something different. Like with my 2 Leyline bindings, I can put 3 Teferis into play, then exile the Teferi they keep, and then exile something else. Okay, I'm going to attack my opponent's life points directly with a 4/4 Exalted. What's up? 6 cards in hand. One of them's got to be Solitude or Unholy Heat or something. All right, fetch Shock. Had to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is Solitude. Oh, Prismatic Ending for 5. Even better. That's actually so much better for me. Because now I get to... I'm going to play my land and then Yorion. I'm trying to set up a world where my Omnath is immediately lethal. So I want to exile the 2 bindings that don't have Omnath under them. And the Ardent Plea for fun. All right, so you get 3 Teferis. Which one would you like? And then I'll exile Teferi and Omnath on the way back, and Yorion on the way back in. That was cool. Teferi and Yorion. Neat trick. When your opponent gives you 2 Teferis to give you 0 Teferis. Opponent's also at 2 life with 2.5 minutes on their clock. Uh-oh. Okay. They had another Teferi. Now they can bounce the binding with Omnath under it. And that's what I was worried about before, and they didn't go for it. Like, how about bounce Yorion? Do that. Okay, they bounced Yorion. I'll take it. They just cycled Hallowed Moonlight. Cast it to draw a card. Omnath, pretty good. Now I can do the legend rule thing again with all of my bindings instead of just 2 of them. Oh, Beseiju. Is that helpful? Not really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't have counterspell. The Yorion's in here. And you have Yorion under there. Binding. Yeah, binding Legends is pretty fun. They do get to draw an extra card off the Omnath one, but it still gets rid of it. Is all I'm really trying to do. Yeah, they can fetch to gain some life right now. Okay. Do we have... What did they fail to find? Oh yeah, they failed to find. That was great. Beseiju is strip mine now, if that's something I'm interested in. They're down to 1:20 on their clock, and I'm about to take Omnath and Teferi back out of the game again. Cool. All right. This is a sweet development. This endgame situation we find ourselves in. Ren just picked up Wooded Foothills. Cycling Rockrun Triome. Passing the turn. I'm not going to attack into Ice Fang Coatl. I'm just going to pass. They don't need to win this game. I just need to not lose it for 55 more seconds. Solitude. That's pretty good. That also gains me 4 life. They got to deal 17 in 40 seconds. Mystical Dispute. Casting another spell on the end step. Otawara. Bouncing my Leyline. Getting back to Fairy. Okay. That's allowed. That lets me replay Leyline next turn, taking out the Solitude, which is their attacker. Here's the Leyline. Get counterspelled. I don't think they're going to do 11 damage in 6 seconds. Nope, didn't even attack. Well, they beat me in the cards department, but I beat them in the clock department. They timed out with 7.5 minutes left, which you can feel how you want about that being a win condition on Magic Online, but when you're playing in paper and going to draws and timing out on Magic Online, and that's a reason to do something different. It's ugly, and it took a long time, but we're 4-0. Let's go. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in round 5. We've got a trophy match. Being on the draw means I dodged the winning 5 die rolls. I get to keep complaining about my luck. This hand, though, it suspends a Rhino on turn 1. My opponent has no companion. I'm going to keep this. This is one of those, like, worst hands you keep kind of moments, but like I said before, when I'm testing a deck, especially one like this, oh, we're playing against goblins. Well, I'm going to be happy with the Fury and the Solitude. And do I want Stomping Ground or Temple Garden here? Probably Temple Garden. Oh yeah, Temple Garden also casts Teferi. Yeah, that's the one. All right, Rhino's in exile, and pass it. This Force Negation looking pretty bad, but the Fury and Solitude looking pretty good. Oh, we're a black goblin deck? Mog War Marshal, sure. Can't be countered. Okay, I won't counter it. A land would be great. If I could get up to 3 lands. All right, I'll even take that one. Play the Endotha Triome, which gives me my 2nd green for Endurance. It gives me just a mana for Teferi. Though I suspect Teferi is going to be on Solitude duty this game. Got a Bloodstained Mire from the opponent. Snoop with Mog Fanatic on top of the deck. All right. Well, they can poke me with Snoop. Checking for 1 here. I'm going to not take any action right now. Can you also cast them? Or you may cast. Okay, yeah, you can cast them too. So I need to stop on my opponent's draw step next turn to make sure they don't get any bonus goblins. All right, stop in the draw step. See what we got on top. Okay, Den of the Bugbear on top, which means I don't have to act right now. It is cool, just this like tick-tock. Set of 4/4s coming. All I got to do is be alive later. Mog Fanatics in play. Wonder if they're going to think about Endurance here. There's 1 copy in the deck. All right, yeah, I didn't think about it. And do I get Basic Island, or do I just make sure my spells are castable? Getting Hallowed Fountain here gets me closer to Solitude. Getting Steam Vents gets me closer to Fury. No, I have no red right now. I actually need it. Actually need Steam Vents. And Endurance. I'm gonna zap their graveyard. I don't know if they use it, but let's just get rid of it. The Munitions Expert does blow this out, even with Solitude messing things up. Bummer. Yeah, 4 goblins is exactly the right number. Yep. I think I need to clear the Snoop anyway. Like, this is damage that's just gonna get taken, so pitch to Fairy, clear the Snoop. If I draw a Cascade spell here and can put 8 power and toughness on the board, that's great. A red card clears their board. Come on, deck. Help me out. Leyline Binding. That works. That's a removal spell. It costs 1. It does indeed. And I'm going to suspend another Rhino and pass the turn with Leyline Binding. This will help me stay alive for the turn, and then my first set of Rhino shows up, and we're just, at any point, drawing to a red card to Fury this whole squad. There's the Den of the Bugbear we knew they were drawing. If I take 4 here, I go to 7, which is functionally 6 with the Mog Fanatic. I don't think any of these... I don't think I need to save 1 damage by using my Binding right now. Goblin Matron is the follow-up. I get to tutor something here. Probably Snoop would be my guess, or Slinking Lieutenant. Ugh, Slinking. I'm gonna need a red card. Let's see what they get, though. Sting Scourger. Okay. Fair enough. The first can of Rhinos is showing up. Come on, red card. Pass the Crash. And red card, Brazen Borrower. That does interact with 2 things on the board. Not a red card, but I do get to Brazen Borrow and Leyline Bind. They can Scourge one of my Rhinos. King Scourger, you got it. Rhino's gone. Oh, they left up. They didn't use Cavern of Souls to cast that. That's someone who has a munitions expert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not even close. Okay, so I'm going to Brazen Borrow a token. Leyline Bind. Probably Mog Fanatic. Bounce a token. If I bind Fanatic, they pop it. I mean, Fanatic is has the most relevant text on this board right now. I'll just hit that. Oh, they didn't pop it. That's lucky. That's a life point that I don't deserve. Yeah, that first munitions expert being 4 instead of 3, even through a removal spell, was pretty clutch. Come on, red card. Red land. Not it. Okay, we're dead. Bummer. Yeah, that was like right on the edge, and it took 3 pieces of interaction and the play to get through it. Okay. No Cascade spells, no red cards. Let's do better in the next game. Now I know what I'm playing against too. I can make better decisions. In punishment could be a sweeper. Destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment mana value X. I think I like the endurances just being big bodies I can put in. I think Force of Negation is basically unplayable. They might have Blood Moons, but I can fetch around it or respect it in other ways. They'll probably have Chalices. Punishment also destroys Chalice, in addition to a wall of creatures. Fire, amazing in this matchup. No love for fire. I think I want both crime and punishments in the deck. Teferi's pretty medium, honestly. Oh, if I expect 8 backing off the Cascade a little bit, I like. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. On the play with a 1-lander, gonna ship this. It does have Fury, but I don't think this is good. I'm gonna mulligan. Okay, here we go. Fire, Ice, and Fury, and a real plan. I'm gonna keep this and send, I think it's Forest to the bottom. The Seiju could hit Chalice. Alright. Can also hit Blood Moon. Misty Rainforest, go. I think this is gonna get Rockrin Triome. Set up the fire. Or I just click through my priority and don't do anything. That's cool too. I'm going to shock in Breeding Pool and pass. Yeah, I just clicked through my priority. There should be an untapped Rockrin Triumph in play right now. Whoops. 2 Caverns on Goblins. Conspicuous Snoop. With Sling Gang on top. Okay. I'm going to fire the Snoop. Got to take damage to do it. I hope I lose this game by 2 life. I'll deserve it. I'm going to get Steam Vents here. Fire the Snoop, and they'll ping me on the way out. Or not. That's cool too. So saving Beseiju versus saving 2 life. Tough. Alright. I'm going to save Beseiju. Fuck my life total. I'm on the offense here. Can of Rhinos. And this could have been done in instant speed. Yeah, I should have held up Beseiju. I don't know what's happening right now at the tail end of the league. Trophy match, brains are fried. But should have done that as an instant. No reason not to. Now they get to see the Rhinos, they get to answer them at sorcery speed, and if they just like slam Blood Moon, I guess they can't cast Blood Moon with the mana they have. But I could have Beseju'd it, now I can't. Oh. Can't Beseiju that one anyway. Alright, Magus of the Moon is in their deck. Fury answers that though. And in a big way, next turn, I'm just gonna bring the beats, put Yorion in my hand. I can pitch Yorion to Solitude if there's an emergency, but my plan is just hardcast Fury next turn. And ship it. We know they're holding Sling Gang, which they now can't cast because of their own Blood Moon. There's a Scourger, sure. Pretty good. I hope they put a real creature into play. I don't want to waste my Fury on something they can't pay for the Echo on anyway. No such luck. Land Snoop? Give it to me? No love. I still get to hold on to Beseiju if I want to. And since they can't play for the Echo anyway, I am gonna Fury pre-combat so they can't absorb the 2 damage. This did just unlock their creatures, but also put Mega Lethal on board. They missed their land drop. We know their hand is 5 spells, and we know one of them Sling Gang Lieutenant. And we know I have Solitude in hand, Fury in play, and Yorion. There's land number 4. This could Sling Gang, if that's even the plan anymore. Sling Gang it is. If I Solitude now, I lose Yorion. They go to 8. They still have 2 blockers. Yeah, I can slog through this, and casting the Solitude is just always going to be better than not casting the Solitude. I could even just Yorion and Flicker Fury to finish off anything that's still in play. They're going to at least block ping off the Fury. Block ping off Rhino doesn't matter. It's the same 1 life either way. Opponent's at 4. And I just fetch 2 basics and cast Yorion. My forest, make sure I can besiege you. My plains. I can still fetch island if I need to do that too. Flicker Fury. They knew all of this was happening. They saw me put the Yorion in hand. I'm going to go to 6. They're going to go to 6 also. And just hope I don't die somehow. Could be 5 to 7 right now if they ping me with the Snoop all those turns ago. Just saying. It could also be 6 to 8 if I didn't pass through my priority on that first fetch. Okay, that's fine. The trample and the flying beat that. And Munitions Expert can kill Fury. But Fury was not the creature you were losing to anyway. You take 1 trample, and for flying, you go to 1, and you're left with 1 goblin token versus my Solitude. Yeah, they have to block with everything just to be alive at all. There's a Den of the Bugbear over there that represents 4, 5 off the token. In some sort of mega emergency, I can Solitude my own Yorion or my own Rhino, gain some life. Okay, you go to 1. I would definitely feel better at 8 life right now. Good job, me. Put Hallowed Fountain into play tapped and pass. Untapping with the Solitude feels really good. They can't even activate Den of the Bugbear with the mana they have. Just tough mana base over here for this 2-color deck. Goblin Grenade is in Modern. Just gotta watch out for that. Okay, that's a Lord. So I can go to 4 here. Yeah, if they're conceding the game here, but if they had attacked, I would have Solitude, exile the Lord, block the token, go to 9, lose nothing, and easy money. Okay. A little early misclick made that one weirder than it needed to be. Magus of the Moon confirmed. Brazen Borrower's in. Leyline Binding's in. Fury, Dead Gone, Fire. All those things are in. Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Same deck. I do have turn 2 Leyline Binding, turn 3 Rhinos. I'm on the draw. Don't love that, but I am going to keep. Yeah, having the Indotha Triome in your opener is certainly exciting. No 1-drop, no problem. Play my Triome. And ship it. Just drew a second can of Rhinos. Snoop. With Matron on top. Okay. That Solitude gives me a lot of breathing room. I want to fetch basic forest with this Wooded Foothills, which means I need to get Rockrin Triome, which is Island Mountain in addition to Plain Swamp Forest. That is all of the things that I need here. I'm going to stop in their draw step to make sure Snoop doesn't go too stupid. Too snoopid. Cancel me. Okay. Island or mountain on top, don't need to act now. I'm likely to just bind the Snoop. That creates a lot of problems in general. They can cast actual Blood Moon, so I'm going to take the 2. Magus of the Moon I don't care about because of Solitude, but the actual Blood Moon off Den of the Bugbear could be a concern. Okay. I'm going to fetch in response. Unfortunately, this gives them information, but I don't want to deal with a shuffle off of the Snoop. Crazy, that's a 1-drop. All right, Snoop's gone. Matron, yourself out of here. Got a backup Snoop. I still have the Solitude chilling. Got another Solitude now. Basic mountain, or basic forest. Basic forest gets me my first can of Rhinos. First of many, I hope. And if I had sequenced this differently, I could, like, if I had ignored Moon and life total, I could have cast Omnath next turn, but I still kind of like respecting those things. And Omnath's going to be my first pitch to Solitude. There's the Snoop with Munitions Expert on top. They can cast that, but it doesn't kill anything yet. It does, like, draw a card. Jamma. All right. Sing Scourger can clear one of my Rhinos. Munitions Expert on top of the deck, worth noting. I'm going to take a draw before I do anything, though. Okay, drew another land. That's cool. That gives me... Oh, I'm about to Omnath, so it doesn't give me Omnath next turn. It gives me Hardcast Solitude next turn. In with the idiots. I don't mind trading with a Sting Scourger. That is material. We know they have Munitions Expert on top. Just Goblins out of play is good. And if they don't block, it's going to tie up all their mana, or it's going to die anyway. So that's a win-win. Second main. Another can of Rhinos. Here they come. And can I get a bigger blowout if I'm greedy here? Like, if I just play the Stomping Ground and pass the turn, they can draw Munitions Expert, but they have to pay for Snoop. Yeah, I actually think this is... Unless there's, like, Kiki Jiki on top of their deck. I'm just going to Solitude now. Sorry, Omnath. You're out of here. Pick off the Snoop. And I'm not worried about the board. As long as they don't get combo killed, I should be okay. Now you can pay for your Sting Scourger and die, or not pay for it and wish you had traded with Chartless Agent. Munitions Expert and 2 mystery cards in hand. Snoop was cast already. Get rid of that. Matron. Okay. You're getting another Snoop, trying to keep combo. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Got to block with at least one of the creatures that's in play. I'm untapping into Cast Solitude. And another Munitions Expert. That's never going to have enough Goblins in play to kill anything. Now you got 2 of them. You can have 3 Goblins in play next turn if you want to survive this combat. Back with all my creatures. You go to 2, and then 2 Munitions Experts in hand. I guess if you point both of them at the same Rhino, you can kill something. At this point, I'm going to play Beseiju, because I don't care about Blood Moon, but I might care about my life total. If they, like, I just don't know what this deck's fully capable of with the Horde Master and Skirk Prospector and how many cards they can draw and Snoop combos, and I don't know. But 2 life might be the difference. Oh, there's step 1. There's the Master. 2 Munitions Experts, 1 mystery card in hand. I'm not sure how we lose this game. Unless the mystery card in hand is Skirk Prospector, which I'll just pick off the Horde Master in response. Okay, they've cast this card. Kill a Chartless Agent. Fair enough. You did it. And if this Matron attacks, I'm going for the blowout, but they're just dead. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. Okay, they reached the same conclusion. Trophy Town with 4 color, almost 5 color, little touch into 5 color. Yorion Rhinos. This deck was really good. I can obviously not claim to have played it optimally. There were some fetch kerfuffles, some like figuring out the plan as well. Like, am I supposed to just always Rhino on 3, or should I use Teferi to buy time? Or like, there's a lot of questions in this deck that I don't know the answers to yet. This was my first time ever playing it. My first time ever playing any Crashing Footfalls deck, actually. I don't think I've ever played the 60 card version either. So figuring all that out was new to me, and identified some mistakes as they happened, and still ended up 5-0. It did involve a timeout, but that's why you would play a deck like this. The 4-color Yorion Elementals deck can't always win in the time you're given. They were on the way to 2-0ing me and just ran out of time, and I still had, was it like 7.5, 8 minutes left on my clock? Not even close. So that's a real argument if you're going to be out there in paper trying to win tournaments and you don't want to spend all day telling your opponents to play faster to avoid a draw. It's a real factor, and it came up in this league. Though, that said, I did not feel like that matchup was good. The classic 4C versus this, though my opponent did have main deck Supreme Verdict, which is not a Maybe the technology's evolved, but that's not something that I've ever had in any of my builds of 4C, and I have played quite a few of them. So maybe that's new tech, maybe that's my opponent sick of losing to Rhinos, I don't know. But Supreme Verdict stabilized my opponent at or around 4 life in both of the games that we played, and then the games ended up going a long way. Being able to put real material on the board on turn 3 in this Omnath deck is crazy, though, because like normally you're like Abundant Growth, maybe Prismatic Ending, maybe Wrenn and 6 if you're super lucky, but like generally Teferi is the first big play of the game or something on 3, and that's just trying to tread water to keep you alive until you get Omnath onto the board. And this one's just like 10 power, go. Deal with that. By the way, Omnath is still in my hand. And just ramming that down the throat of the opponent is really potent. Yeah, this was on my list of things I wanted to try, and I'm glad I did. This is in my short list of things that I would consider playing in a real tournament with real stakes, which I have 2 of coming up in the next month and a half. I will be exploring this one further. Michael and Alexa, thank you for sponsoring this opportunity to try out this sweet new deck. Everybody, thanks for watching. We did it. We won all our matches, and Leyline binding is fucked. Get your sets now. This thing's already $25 on Magic Online. Do you believe that? But anyway, I bet you do believe that with the way cards are released now. They're not quite that expensive in real life. My set is already on the way to my house. I ordered it the other day. I recommend you do the same. This one's going to be a staple across non-rotating formats for a long time. Look at that. You even snuck some financial advice out of me on the way out. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon and all of the other links in the video description that support this channel. And I'll see you for the next one.